Greetings comic lovers and welcome back to Casually Comics, the channel where we chat all things comics, from reviews of comics new and old, to history, to anecdotes, to really wherever our whims take us. We're covering something topical at the time of this recording. I know, are you even on the right channel? We're gonna be taking a look at Punchline, the latest henchwench for the Joker. That's what Harley was initially called when she first debuted on Batman the Animated Series. Yes, these two will be compared and it makes a lot of sense to do so. Punchline was first announced in 2020, and she was billed initially as the new girlfriend for the Joker. Although her relationship with him is still evolving, but still, that's the one that's gonna get you the most headlines. It's like, oh, Joker, girlfriend. Then you can also work Harley Quinn into the title. It's all about keywords. She has been described a couple of other ways though, such as his new hired underboss and as his right-hand woman. There's been a lot of interest in Punchline, and of course the inevitability that was her and Harley Quinn fighting, because let them fight. And don't pretend that this is anything new. Everybody wants to see their heroes fight. It's more than just a chick fight thing, even though that is definitely playing into it, but still, people just want to see heroes fight. Punchline is viewed by some as a replacement Harley, or an attempt at a Harley 2.0, since Harley has moved so far away from that initial space she occupied. And some feel she is starting to burn out in the comic space, because they went full Deadpool with her, like she was everywhere. Also, my Deadpool is mounted, but now you can't see him. Punchline has thus far been well received on a variety of fronts, including of course the cosplay front, because she is very cosplayable. It wouldn't be hard to put this together, not thinking about it. But more than that, the more that she has appeared, there are people who are beginning to enjoy her personality and motivation. Since initially appearing, her origin has, or well, at least more of her backstory has been revealed in the Joker's 80th anniversary issue, a 100-page spectacular featuring stories from a variety of artists and authors, most of whom have close ties to the Batman mythos. So let's take a look at Punchline and examine what it seems to be that people are enjoying about her. What are people finding interesting? But before we get started, I'm Sasha, and if you're enjoying this content, you know what to do. Hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. Join us on this comic book journey. We're all mad here. The story that elaborates on Punchline is the second in the anthology, and it opens at Snyder College, which is a nod to Batman writer Scott Snyder. He wrote the Batman comic during the New 52. He also incidentally wrote the first tale in this book.
I think the college would feel better if you showed a little regret for your actions today.
Oh yeah? 'Cause I definitely care a lot about the school's feelings.
Alexis, please. I'm trying to be reasonable here.
As the convo goes on, we see we're being brought further and further into the school, closer and closer to the dorms. Alexis is being disciplined because she's not properly celebrating Dress Like Your Hero Day, which sounds like something that would happen in an elementary school, but I can also totally see being greenlit at a college or university.
Your roommate Sarah has a brother living in Gotham. 3 of his co-workers were killed in the laughing gas attack last week. You had to know your choice would be provocative.
No sh**. And so we see that her choice was a Joker tank top. She's got posters in the back and she's smoking, which in modern media is a definite cue that something is off, because there have been years of working to make it so that only villains smoke. So when you see somebody smoking, there are 2 signs. Well, I mean 3, because maybe it's a period piece. But if it's not a period piece, then either they're villainous or they don't care what society thinks. They buck their taboos. They laugh in the face of society. So if you see a character with a Joker shirt and a cigarette, you know they're saying screw society. This tale is called What Comes at the End of a Joke, and it's written by current Batman writer at the time of this recording, James Tynion IV, who is also one of her creators. The art is by Mikel Janin. The Dean, who is our authority figure who needs to go down, realizes that his friendly approach is just not working. No, you didn't come here to be my friend. You came here because this scares the shit out of you, and you know it's dangerous. You want me to say this is all some tear-jerky cry for help, and then you don't have to be the administration who punished a student for free expression, or the one that didn't. Best of both worlds. As she rants at him, she blows smoke in his face and keeps glancing back at her armoire, which is slightly open, which of course we know means something, because in a fictional story and a visual medium, nothing's ever just open or highlighted like that for no reason. People in stories don't just forget to close things. They're on point. If we weren't here, everything would be closed, put away, neat, perfect. Suddenly the Dean finds that he can't stop laughing.
What did you do?
I got the recipe off the internet. I don't know if it's gonna work right. You wouldn't believe how many different chemicals it takes. I really liked this bit. As stories evolve and change, the change in how technology is incorporated in our world, and hence the fictional one, has made its way into comics with varying degrees of success. In an age of social media, GPS tracking, near constant internet usage, there are lots of different stories you can tell, and it could very much subtly shift the landscape. You could have different impacts or results because of these changes in technology, which can feel at times near ubiquitous. And for some, they have now come up always living with this level of intense connectivity, while others have grown to see it evolve around them. Some writers know how to work this into stories and others don't. Some try and end up sounding horribly dated. Others just ignore it and leave it for somebody else. And some dabble and introduce pieces, like here. The idea that there would be websites online trying to recreate the Joker's toxin makes a lot of sense, as does the fact that there would be some who would seek them out. It's a detail that works well with the story and makes it feel modern in a way that's not forced. Like, say, remember all those selfie variant covers from back in the day? Or even Batgirl #1's actual cover? Because kids take selfies, right? That's a thing. We're relatable. Please buy this. Versus something like this, which is a detail that not only makes the story feel a bit more grounded for the modern reader, but also advances the plot. Don't fight it, Dean Bob. I want to get it all on camera. Alexis has been testing her formula for a while on homeless people, but now she's ready to show the world. You see, I'm gonna dress you up and leave your body in Sarah's bed. You know, her brother met those guys who died once, like 3 years ago. She's been playing it up for likes on social media. But I'll give her the kind of scar that she'll remember. She'll go from pretending she's so scared and offended by a Joker t-shirt to seeing his face in her nightmares for the rest of her life.
Why are you like this?
We grew up with all of you whispering in our ears that we could be anything we wanted. But you never realized the downside to all that. Some of us don't want to be the good guys. That's a bit on the nose. I appreciate the sentiment, but that's more like telling and less showing. But it's okay. The rest of her speech is pretty good. I don't want to live in the slow decay of your world. This whole world you built is the joke, and I'm the punchline. I felt that. I'm not gonna pretend. The first time I read it, I felt it. I got mild goosebumps. I know that could also be viewed as super lame. Like, oh, she said it. But for me, what can I say? It worked. I felt it flowed well, and her using her own name came off as credible. The Dean can't hold the laughter back anymore and dies as his heart gives out. You needed to see I wasn't just another creepy fangirl. There's your proof. I'm ready to get serious. Oh wow, shock horror, the Joker was in her armoire. I never would have guessed. I just thought it was an empty armoire that they kept showing for no reason. My dear Punchline, what comes next is going to be funny. So that was Punchline Rising, I guess we could call it. And I really liked it. I liked it a lot more than I was expecting to be honest. I had steered clear of Punchline for a little bit because I'm very wary of hype these days. It's gotten to the point where if something's hyped, I kind of want to just stay really far away from it. Half the time now, it's like, is this even real hype? Is this fake hype? I can't tell. And also, if it is real hype, I don't want to be that person who doesn't like it because I'm always that person. I don't know, does hype make any of you feel less keen? Let me know. This story was short, but went a long way to establishing Punchline as a character who feels distinct and actually grounded in a very different reality than, say, Harley. She's also grounded in a lot of issues that could appeal to both older and younger readers. She could genuinely be found to be relatable. There's an anger at the world in her that is a fuel that is identifiable to most, but there is also a youthful streak of frustration and disillusionment with the status quo. There's even a disillusionment with online culture as well as academic culture, which sometimes can feed a lot into online cultural spaces. Questions about offense and trauma, which many can have very strong opinions on. Lots of people get into very long debates about what is and what isn't trauma. Is offense the same as hurt? Are people too sensitive or are others too callous? Is there a difference between, say, for example, her t-shirt and the corpse her roommate is about to find? You may be surprised at some of the answers that people would give you. Her actions and the manifestations of them also speak to an age-old style of adage. I'll give you something to cry about. I'll give you something to be angry about. I'll give you something to remember. She's lashing out. It works too because it's also very youthful and lines up with the age that she is. Also, there is the fact that she is an unapologetic villain. Villains with tragic backstories are great, but every now and again, it is nice just have somebody who just does not even care. They're just there to burn it down, regardless of backstory. Now it is of course early days, so Punchline could look vastly different in even a year if she proves to have staying power at all. Only time will tell. She's still a newcomer at the time of this recording. I say that so so much because people don't check dates. Now, of course, I can see some not liking her. The idea that she's just an edgy, silly young adult, or just another Joker fangirl that they're trying to dress up with all this fancery, this finery. Just someone trying to be scary by latching onto the real big bad of the universe. Been there, done that. But I don't know, personally, I think that there's something here, but I also think that it could go particularly awry. For example, she's written way less well, in my opinion, in Batman number 93, where she fights Harley Quinn. However, the fact that she is currently seen to be going into this entirely of her own accord and with her eyes open means that there's a bit of a safety to liking her that people no longer tend to have with Harley. She doesn't have the same stigma attached to liking her in her association with the Joker that tends to come with liking Harley and the association she had with him. These two are, of course, a very different kettle of fish, but because they both have that association with him, they end up being compared. Some are just thrilled to not be yelled at for liking a character, but of course, give it time. Give it time, it's early days. There is someone, don't worry, someone's gonna yell. Though in a meta way, that would play into Punchline's worldview, which would be ironic. And yes, of course, I know some are just here for the eye candy. I've seen the comments. It's like, she's just fine to look. That's not what they say at all, but that's my nice, out-of-date slang PG-rated version. I mean, let me boil down some of the comments. Hubba hubba. Personally, I like characters that seem like they have the potential to provoke discussion. And so far, Punchline is doing that for me. Could she devolve into just another Joker sidekick or victim? Yeah, of course. Any character can devolve, but I hope she doesn't though. I'd like more unapologetic lady villains out there, just like classic Maleficent style. Like, you didn't invite me to this party, I'm gonna ruin your daughter's life. Just ridiculous lovability. They didn't give me my Frosty in the drive-thru, I'm gonna burn it all down. Punchline also seems like she could exist without the Joker, even though he is her inspiration, but that she could potentially be a legacy style character. Which for me is another feather in her cap, or I guess tasteful streak in her hair. But that's just my opinion, and I want to hear yours. Are you enjoying Punchline so far, or do you find her to be derivative? Just say a Joker knockoff or a Harley knockoff. If you aren't enjoying her, I want to hear from you just as much as if you are, and I want to hear the reasons why or why not. Share all of your thoughts down below, and while you're down there, please do all the YouTube things. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell notifications so that you never miss a vid. Thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to discuss comics with me. I always appreciate it, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.